I respect the rights of parents to make choices about their child's education, but children's safety must always come first, and under this government, their safety will always come first. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, let's be crystal clear. A vote against this bill today is a vote against the safety of our children, a vote against their childhoods and against their futures. Today, Conservative MPs have a choice. They can choose to back measures to protect children, or they can choose to chase headlines.
Why does the Secretary of State want to dismantle the work of decades by members across this House and bring about a kind of a gross socialist uniformity which will destroy the progress that has been made?
Madam Deputy Speaker, it's just simply a mischaracterisation, and the right honourable gentleman knows it. And I note in what he had, and I will come on to in my speech the wider schools measures here, but I note that in his intervention he had nothing to say about the safety of children and the measures that we are discussing today, and the wrecking amendment that the Leader of the Opposition has put down that would block the very important, very serious measures they have been telling us for days they want to see put in place. If they want those measures, they need to support them.
I think Sir Tony Blair and Lord Adonis will actually be horrified by these changes that will restrict those freedoms to innovate and to improve. And I think it's a great, great shame.
I really welcome the measures in this bill to make sure that the many children we have who are being homeschooled have all the support they need to get back into mainstream education. I was extremely concerned to find out that 800 children in Hastings in the last academic year are being homeschooled. That is 1 in 16 children, or 27 classrooms of children. While there will be parents who are providing a good quality education at home, I also know from speaking to teachers, from speaking to local shops who see these children in their establishment, that they are not necessarily getting a good education, and we need to get these children back into school.
I agree with my honourable friend, and I recognise the challenge that she faces in her constituency and that we see right across our country. We have seen a big increase in the number of children being home educated, and whilst I respect the rights of parents to make that choice, I think there are a complex range of reasons why many parents are now making that decision. There are questions around how we support our children on their mental health. There are wider challenges on the SEND system. But let me be absolutely clear to the House. All children, when they are not in school, when they are being home educated, must have a good level of education. And we cannot allow the situation to continue where we do not have visibility of where children are, where they slip between the cracks. And we will ensure through this legislation that where there are child protection investigations underway or a child protection plan, local authorities will be able to decline that request from parents, because we all sadly know what can go terribly wrong when we fail to step in and protect children.
The bill in front of us today is a bill of two halves, one of which seeks to protect children, to improve safeguarding and support for children in care. And whilst we will seek to amend various aspects of it at committee, we do see value in what is being put forward. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, the other half of this bill is the policy equivalent of a wrecking ball. It is an all-out assault on teachers, the education system and standards.
We welcome the bill's provisions on child safeguarding, including the register of children not in school. As Liberals, our party firmly upholds the right of parents to educate their children at home when it is the best choice for their child. In 99% of cases, a parent knows what is best for their child, but it is deeply concerning that there may be many thousands of children whose whereabouts are simply unknown. That reality can contribute, as we have seen all too recently, to tragic safeguarding failures, and that cannot continue.
Many children with mental health problems with autism are educated at home because there is no realistic alternative. Would she support encouraging the Secretary of State to ensure that in Clause 25 the support given to home educated families would include free access to examinations, which could cost hundreds and hundreds of pounds for children who are struggling to get good home education because of that cost?
Now, I absolutely understand why at first reading those who homeschool might have some concerns about this, but this absolutely isn't and shouldn't be an attack on homeschooling. The right to homeschool is important, and certainly at a time when inclusion and support in schools is far from what it should be for some children with some of the highest needs, it's important that that's protected. But just as every parent has the right and responsibility to do what's right for their child, we all have the right and responsibility to make sure that no child can be left vulnerable and fall between that crack.
I wonder if you can give a single instance where a child who was in home education, you've got to remember that children spend about 86% of their time when they're at school, out of school. A single instance where a child who was at harm wasn't known to social services already. And there's a conflation of a failure of social services, which needs to be fixed, with home education, which is entirely separate.
I have no doubt this bill is based on socialist dogma. It will reduce choice, it will reduce competition, it will take away parents' freedom to educate at home, ultimately, and I'm against it. And I'll vote against it, and the government will vote for it, and that's how politics in this country works. But how on earth can we look up at the screens and see children's well-being and debate and vote on that when out there in the country our constituents are talking? Well, we used to call it grooming gangs. I think we've moved on now to mass and gang rapes.
But does he accept that there are measures in this bill that will protect children based on what we already know? That it will help children, stop them being abused and make it harder for groomers to get access to them across this country? And that's what we all want to do, isn't it? I hope he agrees with me.
I don't. No, I don't. And whatever measures are in this bill to protect children, and we all want to see children protected for goodness sake, no, it will not.
And I'm sure everyone in this House shares her objective of ensuring that children get the best education, have the best educational outcomes possible. But why then is she dismantling the infrastructure which has delivered improvements? Why specialist schools, schools able to attract the best teachers, schools able to tailor their curriculum to the children that they have? Why does she want to dismantle that if the point is that she wants to improve educational standards?